Hi, this is Blossom Ridge Farm, and today we are making jelly, strawberry jelly, with all of our strawberries from the strawberry hill. So we sold a lot of our strawberries, and I have like leftover strawberries, kind of almost the end of the season strawberries, and a lot of them are kind of small, as you can probably see. But though they are small, they are still delicious, and they're great for making jelly. So I've collected, I'm estimating this is about 2 pounds. So I have a recipe. By the way, just so you know, I am definitely not an expert in making jelly. In fact, this is the third time I've really ever made jam. So it won't be foolproof. And I'm sure there's many people out there that know way more about jam than I do. So you can laugh at my mistakes. So yeah, this is about 2 pounds approximately. And then my recipe is 2 pounds of fruit, and then I'm adding a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. I'm adding a 1.5 tablespoons of pectin and sugar. Sugar is one of the most important ingredients because you do want your jam to gel. Even though it's really hard to put that much sugar in, I always find it very difficult. But I discovered tonight that I don't have a lot of sugar. So I'm doing a low sugar recipe because I only have 3 cups, but really I should have 4 cups. First thing I'm going to do is take my strawberries, dump them in my pot, not heated. See, I have one little stem on this little one. And then I have a potato masher. Remember, I'm not an expert. And I'm going to mash my strawberries. And this is kind of fun. The fun part if you really like destroying things, but you got to be careful it doesn't splatter in your face. Hence I have my apron on, which is actually a Christmas apron. So I'm just gonna talk and smash for a while, and just the aroma of the strawberries is just coming forth and they smell so yummy. I'm gonna heat up my saucepan just a little bit. And the next thing I'll do is put my sugar in and then just kind of gently melt the sugar so it's not like in grains anymore. And then once I've done that, I'm going to add my lemon juice, mix it in, and then I'm going to add my pectin, and then I'm going to bring it to a boil. And it's going to cook for a while. And it always seems to take forever to get it to cook. And you want to get like the right temperature, but you don't want it to burn. You don't want burnt jelly. So I've got a little temperature gauge that I'm going to be using to kind of hit that right kind of temperature. So I found that, yeah, there's definitely a certain art to doing this, and I definitely don't have it yet. Okay, I think my strawberries are definitely mush at this point. So I've got my lemon juice. I'm going to stir that around, and it is heating up slowly. And then my sugar. Now I said I was low on sugar, so like I only have 1/8 of a bag, it feels like. So I'm sure I'm going to get 3 cups of sugar, or else it's really going to be low sugar jelly. Okay, I got 1. I'm going to gradually kind of stir this in. I know everybody really likes the idea of doing like a low sugar jelly and stuff, but the reality is it doesn't ever work out well, at least from my experience. But like I said, I don't really have a lot of experience. Okay, so we've got 1 cup in there. See if we can get our second. Now, while I'm doing this part here, I've got a big cauldron next to me right here, and I've been boiling my jam jars to sterilize them. So they've been in there, I don't know what, like 20 minutes maybe, so they're definitely sterilized. And I'm just using these jars, these cute little jars. Okay, I think that was 2 cups. Now let's see if we can pull off another 1 more cup. Come on, you can do it. Okay, that was lucky. My sugar bag is virtually empty, so. And I'm going to stir that in really nicely. And I'm just waiting for those sugar crystals to kind of melt. So it's kind of a sticky syrup. And then I've got my pectin. And I tasted this because I was curious to see what it tasted like. And it's so sour. I don't know what they put in pectin. I'm kind of ignorant about these things. Anyway, here I go. I don't know really if pectin tastes, if it affects the flavor much. And probably someone out there knows the answer to that, but I don't. Thus far, I haven't discovered that it does. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up a little bit and just make sure that dissolves. The first batch of jam I did, I didn't put any pectin in, and I put a full 4 cups of sugar and my lemon juice, quarter cup of lemon juice, and my 2 pounds of strawberries. And you know, the jam didn't gel super thickly. It was a little runny, but not like really runny, and I thought it was really good. But I was a little disappointed when I kind of moved the jar and I saw how much the jelly moved, and I thought, oh no, it didn't work. But it actually did work, and it tasted really good. So I was excited about that. So the next batch I decided to do with pectin, and it gelled up a lot more. So I still managed to take a cup of sugar out, so that was a nice compromise. But to do it without sugar, I don't know. Never tried that one before. So I'm thinking probably it's looking like my sugar crystals have kind of melted quite a bit here. And then I'm going to get to the point where I heat it up and boil for a long time. And it kind of will change color at some point. And there's a fine kind of time where you want it to kind of get really hot, change color. You want to keep stirring, but not too much because then it cools down. But you don't want it to burn. And then there's that just perfect time when it's time to pour it into your jars. I almost burnt one batch, but not quite. It still tasted good. Okay, and at this point I'm just going to pause the video because I'm going to be cooking here for a long time. And you don't want to watch me cooking that long. Hi, I'm back again. So I've been boiling this. I'm getting really hot. It's really hot. And I just got this I'm trying to get the temperature up high enough. So I'm testing the temperature, and I think it's really getting close here. So I'm going to pour it into the jars. And I've taken my jars out of my pots, and they're sitting there. They're still very hot. And I've got my little ladle here. And my oven mitts, which is probably going to be very destroyed after I'm done with this. We'll see how carefully I can do this. I'm going to kind of do this as quickly as possible without burning myself. And I'm not going to fill the jar all the way up because I want to leave a little bit of room. Okay, I don't want to burn myself. Yeeks. Okay, next jar. I'm estimating that this is going to make 4 jars total. Yeah, already, it looks like it's worked, I think, but we won't really know until maybe tomorrow, 24 hours. Let's see. And then behind me in my cauldron, I've got the water boiling, and I've got some special kind of a wire kind of basket so I can sit my jelly in and have it not fall over and bang together and crack, because we don't want cracked jelly. It's kind of sad to be doing this in the summertime because it's always hot in the summertime. And just being behind the stove and the heat all this time makes you very hot. I tried pouring with my saucepan and just poured it directly into the jar. That was a bad mistake. So I've got my ladle. I know there's some pros out there that could probably be giving me a lot of advice right now. Okay, 3 jars and maybe 1 more to go. I think I'm actually going to pour this last one. It's just going to be easier. Go. You can see that there's some lumps of strawberries, and it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a texture in jelly. At least I think it is. Maybe some people don't. I mean, I'm making a jam or kind of a strawberry preserve, not a jelly, just to correct myself. Got a little bit left in here. Let's see if I can scrape that out. Okay, it looks like this jar is not going to get super full, but that's okay. Now I'm going to get a clean cloth and wipe the edges of the jelly, and then I'm going to put the lids on, and then I'll put them in my little cauldron here. I'm going to cover it with water, about 2 inches of water, boiling water, and let it sit in there for 10 minutes. Okay, so almost done. Jam is such a long making process, but you know, it's just really such a pleasure to enjoy like your fresh homemade jelly. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I think I showed you this before. So this was a jar from my other batch. And we're looking forward to tasting some of this at tea time. Okay, see you later. Okay, everyone, now is the moment of truth. For me, a novice at jelly making, I'm feeling a little nervous now because when I open this jar, it might not be thick like jelly. So I'm going to see. And then we're going to taste our jelly. Anyway, I'm so thankful to God for blessing us with all of the fruit and the abundance of the harvest and everything, and just to have this strawberry jelly. So I got to give him credit because he makes the fruit grow, right? And the sunshine helps too. Okay, so here I go. Oh my goodness, it gelled. I'm so excited. Success. Okay, now the next test is to see how good it tastes. I'm going to spoon some in here. Okay. Let's see how it tastes. Really good. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.